We have finally received our second trailer for One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, which also finally gave us some actual gameplay footage to go off of. On top of this, some other channels who were able to attend Gamescom were also able to get hands-on time with the game, and we're going to be analyzing both of these today. First of all, the trailer. Story-wise, there's not a lot here that we didn't already know. We get a few clips showing moments like Sanji revealing his true name and leaving the Straw Hat Pirates, as well as his engagement to Big Mom's daughter Pudding, and Luffy crashing through the wedding cake. We then see Luffy fighting some minions, utilizing some very long aerial combos, showing off that jumping is included here. We also get to see Luffy using some of his normal attacks, and he seems to be doing several combo enders together in short succession, which could mean this is just a new combo with multiple extensions, or that using successive combo attacks without restarting your standard attack could be a thing. We then get a few short clips of Sanji and Jinbei fighting, showing that their combos have been changed slightly, which is then followed by the reveal of our first new playable character, Vin Smoke Reiju. Like the others, the non-Muso attacks that they show off here seem to have a huge focus on attacking midair. The trailer then finishes off with a boss fight with Big Mom and Luffy using his Gear 4, but this time they're utilizing the in-game graphics rather than just cinematics. Even though Big Mom is enormous here, she actually looks a lot shorter than she probably should be. According to the One Piece wiki, her height is 28 feet, making her one of the largest characters in the One Piece universe. However, here she looks to be about the same height as Doflamingo was in the previous game, a character who's supposedly at least 10 feet tall. Her size leads me to believe that she is definitely going to be playable, or else I think they would have just kept her original size to make her a scripted boss fight like the fight with Oars on Thriller Bark. Again, the trailer didn't give us that much new, so we're going to be moving on to the playable demo, which actually does give us a lot more information. I'm going to be using the footage captured by the channel videogamers.eu with a link to their video in the description. Thankfully, their footage starts with the capture of the game's control menu, which immediately illuminates a couple of key differences. Dash, which used to be on the cross button, is now set to L2, and Circle, which used to be the Musou attack, has now been replaced with what's called a power dash, something that I'm going to get into a little bit later. Musou attacks and their traditional form are gone, replaced with 4 special moves, which are triggered by using R1 and the 4 face buttons. This is basically the same system that Musou attacks took in Dynasty Warriors 9, but the key difference here is that square and triangle combos still exist, and the fighting isn't going to be boiled down to a single attack button, thank goodness. As the player gets right into the demo, we have a quick tutorial pop up that says they can press square at the right speed to perform fast combos. I'm not exactly sure what it means for this game, but properly timed button presses have been used in Warriors games before. It's an unintrusive way to reward those who are actually trying to strategically attack rather than just brainless button mashing. The next tooltip tells the player that they can create a number of combos using square and triangle. However, I want to note here that the two that are actually mentioned both start with square, which could mean that triangle combos, which were featured in the last game, could be taken out here. To be honest, I wouldn't be too bothered by this, but it is equally possible that they are still in there and were just not shown here in order to make things more simple for new players. After getting into some simple combat, we next get the tip that tells you can jump, or you can also input the jump button after an attack in order to launch and follow your foes into the air. This was an effect that was universally integrated into all Warriors C2 attacks across all the games in the franchise, which seems to be able to be used with more than just one combo this time. We still don't know if air juggling is going to be possible with all attacks, but if it is, it's going to be a significant change to the formula, and also allow for a lot more complexity no matter which combo you've decided to use. After doing a couple of these really cool, really fluid looking aerial attacks, we next learn a bit more about the power dash. Using a very Zelda-esque stamina bar, you can use power dashes as opposed to normal dashes to both attack and dodge at the same time. You can also hold down the button longer to dash farther away, but doing this will likely eat up more of your stamina. I really like the idea of these power dashes, but I think I really need to get this game into my own hands before getting a read on how much this is really going to add. Offhand, it mainly seems like it's barely worth taking its own face button. However, the amount of damage and distance that it gives you is going to entirely determine that. After a bit more fighting, we next see that the lock-on controls are the same, and from what I can glean, it seems like the rather loose lock-on mechanics of the previous One Piece Pirate Warriors games hasn't been changed here. Something that has been changed is that now stronger enemies have an extra armor bar, which seems to show you with real information how much resistance against flinching to your attacks that your enemies are going to have. This seems to suggest that rather than never knowing when your foe is going to flinch, you're going to have a bit more information at your hands to better know when you should press your attacks. Next up, we finally get to what I think is the most interesting interesting change, and that is special moves. As the tip says, you can only use a special move when the individual gauge is full, and these are going to fill up as you give or take damage, and that each one of these special moves has different amounts of special charge required. Now, I'm sure that everyone will have their own reaction to this, but personally, I think this is a fantastic change. Honestly, I usually don't use Muso attacks for anything except for avoiding damage, due to them being very situational and kind of slow compared to just attacking like normal. However, this system, which seems to be built to allow you to equip the 4 skills that you prefer, adds a touch more customization and flexibility to your chosen playstyle. This is basically the same system as before, except with 3 more options. Based on some of the moves seen, which used to be part of Luffy's arsenal, I'm a little bit worried that the characters are going to have less combos to use, instead having some of their iconic moves stripped away and put onto these special button presses, but I'm going to have to wait and see a full combo sheet in order to know if that's really the case. At the end of this gameplay video, we finally get to see the fight between Luffy and Big Mom play out. The tip for fighting giant enemies here reads that their armor gauges can only be lowered by attacking them while they are attacking you, something that is similar to fighting giant bosses in Hyrule Warriors. You're probably going to want to wait for the right moment to attack. However, you don't have to wait for specific attacks to try and get your counter attacks off on. Instead, it can just be any attack that the giant boss is doing, something which is a very, very welcome change from the giant bosses of Hyrule Warriors. After fighting off Big Mom for a while, Luffy then uses a special move to transform into Gear 4 Bounce Man. However, this seems to be from a special move that he's already used multiple times before. It is possible that this was simply a scripted moment for this demo, or it could be that certain special attacks have a random chance to initiate a transformation. But either way, I really hope this is just going to be a controllable aspect, and not something that is determined to happen through either story events or random chance. On top of gaining all new attacks in this mode, Gear 4 Luffy also gets a couple extra bonuses, including continuous power dashes, as well as power dash invulnerability, which I have to say does pay off on making this new dash type worthwhile. There is actually a lot of information in the short clips here, and I'm glad that so many people got the chance to finally play this upcoming game. I personally still have a lot more questions about it, but so far all the signs point to this being another great entry in the Pirate Warriors series. So while we wait for more details, I want to know, what are your thoughts about the new trailer, gameplay, and new developments that we've seen here today? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.